Hey, what's up team? This is our hip priming circuit that's gonna help strengthen and prime activate your hips for success. Now, we're gonna be using mini bands to help activate the hip. And you can use any mini band of your choice. I'm gonna be using a heavy band. Now, the first exercise in the circuit is called a clam shell. We're gonna be laying on our side and you're gonna get into a nice comfortable position. We're gonna be performing 10 repetitions. Now from here, you wanna lay your bicep on your ear. You don't wanna have your hips too far back behind you and you don't wanna have them too far in front. Bring them to a place that feels relatively comfortable for you. Now we wanna drive the downward hip into the ground. We don't wanna be lifting our hips off. We wanna keep our heels clasped together. Now your toes can come apart, but your heels have to stay tight. From here, we're gonna lift our top knee as high as it can go. This is gonna activate and help strengthen our backside glute, okay, that piriformis area, that big hip muscle. And then we're gonna bring it down with control. Now you have 10 of these. Now the key is control. You wanna control it back down towards the other leg. You don't wanna snap it down fast. You wanna control that hip throughout the entire range of motion. Now we're not gonna be going so far back that it pulls our hips up and over and back behind us. So that's why we're driving the bottom leg down into the ground. That's also gonna activate that bottom hip as well. So you have 10 controlled clam shells to start. Stay relaxed and breathe throughout the duration of the drill. Depending on the band that you choose, this is really gonna burn right off the get-go. Now, once we finish 10 repetitions, we're gonna go into a side plank abduction. It's gonna look just like this. So you're gonna go up onto your elbow, where you're gonna have your elbow in line with your shoulder. You can place your hand down for support. You're gonna bring the top hand up onto the hip, and from here, you're going to lift your hips up into the air. Now, right now, they're back behind you into your back chain. And then you're gonna bring your hips forward into extension as you drive your knee up into abduction. So that's gonna come your knee in line with your hip. And then you're gonna bring them back down into the same position you started in. That's gonna really activate that hip tremendously. You got 10 repetitions. And you're gonna be doing that nice and quick and fast and dynamic on the way up, but controlled on the way down. So pull your hip up and in line with the knee and drive your hips from back to forward. And the reason why you wanna have your elbow in line with your shoulders is so you stay in a nice, strong position. You don't compromise your core or your shoulder and put it in a bad position, because you are also gonna feel this in your core region. Once you finish 10 repetitions, we're gonna stay up here, and now you're gonna feel a nice burning sensation on the bottom hip. From here, you're gonna straighten out the top leg, bring it up, and hold this for 10 seconds. So this is a side plank leg lift iso hold. You hold that for 10 seconds. It really works on stabilizing the core, the side obliques, and the hip. Woo! That is an absolute burner when all those three are combined together. We get the entire stabilization of the pelvis, core region, and those glutes are going to be on fire. So again, we're gonna go into our side clamshell position. Now, the one hip you just worked is gonna be on fire. So be cautious, but be aware and be mindful that you need to be doing this with proper control. Don't race through it. So we're gonna bring up that leg with control. Remember, the heels gotta stay clasped together. The toes can come apart, and you wanna go down with control on that hip. As I am, you can bring up this top hand over the ear and sit up if you like, or you can be down like this. Once 10 repetitions are complete, we're gonna go into our side plank hip abductions. We're gonna drive the hips up and forward and bring that top knee up. This also works the bottom glute to help stabilize the pelvis, bring everything into proper alignment. Once we finish 10 repetitions, we're gonna go straight into our side plank, straight leg, iso hold. And side plank, straight leg, iso hold. You're really gonna feel that in that lower glute along with the top leg. Core stabilization in the side obliques, pelvis stabilization, and just overall, just killer in the glutes. From here, I'm now gonna take my band off and we're going to side lying leg raises. So I'm gonna take the top leg, pull it in towards me to get a huge stretch in that glute piriformis area. Bring my foot down to the ground. Now, it may come up a little bit, that's okay. Take the bottom leg now, keep it straight, lift up as high as you can. This is going to dynamically work, activate the inner groin, the adductor region. As you can see, I'm lifting that up as high as I possibly can for 20 repetitions. Once that's finished, we flip sides. Again, pull that top leg in towards you, straighten out the bottom leg, huge stretch in the top leg, and that piriformis hip area, bottom leg, you're actively pulling and using that groin muscle to pull up. 20 repetitions. So now for the last exercise, we're gonna grab a lighter mini band, okay? Not as heavy as that one. We'll stand up and we're gonna place the mini band around the ankles. And we're gonna do an isometric sprinter hip flexor hold. So you can either do this on a mat where it's gonna be a little bit more instability, a little bit more balance that it's gonna take. I like to do it on a harder surface. From here, all you're going to do is lift the leg up ever so slightly. Okay, so at the hip. Extend and straighten out slightly at the knee, and then turn out so your toes pointing out away from you, externally rotate it, and just hold this position. This is going to activate the hip flexor and also all the muscles in the inner groin. You hold that for 10 to 20 seconds, bring that leg down, and repeat to the other side. So, lift with the hip ever so slightly off the ground, extend straight at the knee ever so slightly, and then turn and rotate externally so that toe is pointing out and away from you, and now that will activate all the inner groin muscles. So you feel this big quad and hip flexor and groin just activate as you're working on stabilization and body and full body control on the stance leg. 10 to 20 seconds, bring it back down, repeat that 3 times. So lift up, knee extend, turn out, hold. And on the stance leg, really feel like you're separating those toes and spreading them apart, and then grab the ground to build that balance and stability. Bring back down and switch it. Knee, hip, lift, extend, turn. Again, on the stance leg, on my left leg now, grab the ground, hey, really grip it and hold. Going into the last one. Again, builds balance, stability, overall body control on the stance leg, really activating that hip flexors and groin area. Last one, and we are done the series. You also want to be very aware and cognitive of the stance leg. Don't let the foot collapse inwards. Do not break at the arch. Keep that nice and strong. Done. Now, just feel how activated the hips feel for you to sprint fast or jump high. Let's go.